The DUP have accepted the deal and now we move to phase 2. But when we're out, are we out or are we still in? Together let's find out. Hello, my name's Tony, and if this is your first time and you want to unite, pick holes in our system and work towards making politicians answerable, then go ahead and click subscribe and get involved in the debate and comment below. And now let's get to grips with what was said yesterday. First of all, the UK will lose voting rights for the 2-year period of transition and will no longer participate in or nominate or elect members of the EU institutions. But the ECJ and EU law continue to apply for the duration of transition. Donald Tusk said yesterday that that should include new EU laws passed during the transition period. So we can't vote for new members, but they can say what we can do legally. We don't get a say in new rules being put in place, so with that in mind, should we be made to follow any new rules, as we're not staying anyway? They could well bring in new rules that could cripple us in the remainder of the time that we're in. They say the UK courts must have due regard to the relevant decisions of the European Court of Justice on matters of EU law concerning citizens' rights. A definite win for the EU because the ECJ will continue to have influence over British courts. Both the British government and the European Commission will have the right to actually intervene in citizens' rights cases in UK courts and the ECJ. Don't worry about the ECJ, but the UK courts. But what about that all-important divorce bill? The UK will pay a financial settlement estimated to be at 35 to 39 billion. It's now come out at around 40 as it leaves the EU. Recently I uploaded a full video on what that amount can buy, and I'll put that link in the corner here. But what about this? The UK will continue to pay into the EU budget until it expires in 2021. As Theresa May promised in her Florence speech, Britain will continue to be liable for its share of EU liabilities as they stand on Brexit Day. Britain will pay up to £15.7 billion towards Brussels programmes between now and 2020. After the bloc guaranteed, the UK organisation will still be able to take part during that period. The UK, we the taxpayer, will also hand over a maximum of £20 billion in payments for obligations such as loans to the Ukraine and a refugee fund for Turkey. And to top all of them payments off nicely, there will be a net payment of £3.5 billion for liabilities which consist of costs such as pensions at £8.7 billion and money coming back to the UK such as £3 billion of capital from the European Investment Bank. So we got to pay a divorce bill. Can't elect members during the transition. They have control over our courts still, and we don't have any say over new laws. But Theresa May says that the settlement is fair to the British taxpayer. But is it? I mean, is it really? Remember, Theresa May told Philip Hammond off after he said Britain should pay a figure as high as 50 billion in the Brexit divorce, even if no trade deal is struck. We will see if she does the same. The Chancellor said it was inconceivable that the UK would not hand over money that it was obliged to pay. The Conservatives, you think, were obliged to pay back money to Tehran in an arms deal in 1979 over chieftain tanks. Different Prime Minister, granted, but same party. Part of the reason why Iran are holding the British prisoner that Boris so eloquently made a gaffe about. And you will find that video explaining that here. But going forward, Theresa May said that the agreement would guarantee the rights of 3 million EU citizens in the UK, enshrined in UK law and enforced by British courts. But like I said a minute ago, why then? They say UK courts must have due regard to relevant decisions of the European Court of Justice on matters of EU law concerning citizens' rights, and it will last for about 8 years. And the Cabinet have accepted the transition under single market custom unions and the ECJ rules. But the Cabinet said 6 months ago they wouldn't accept these things. So is Theresa May the hard-nosed negotiator we all think she is, or that she says she is? Or is she now bending the rules to the instruction of the EU? Both Michael Gove and Theresa May have said that eventually there will be more money for the NHS and schools. Do you believe that? Because I certainly don't. We have heard nothing but Brexit over the last, well, it's been that long. But are we getting a Brexit? We have voted. The Conservatives have gone to the table with endless negotiations. But will we get it? And will Brexit be realised after all? We are not even going to be able to make our own laws. And as a side note, Boris Johnson is now congratulating Theresa May after both him and Gove said we shouldn't be paying anything. So like always, MPs think more of their own party than the British people that made a choice and gave us the result that we got. If you want to get involved in the debate, don't forget to comment below, and if you want to unite and make changes, click on that subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Have a great weekend, stay positive, stay focused, but most importantly, let's make some changes. I'll see you next time.